Sure.
Oh, but you can't eat anything over there.
Hey, buddy.
He doesn't. He's not a chewer.
I'm
but
sure this is going to be fine.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Yeah.
No, I don't know what to say.
Okay. Hi, welcome to This Costa Rican Life with your host, Justin. We're your guests from Crossfit Potrero, doing this live from Crossfit Potrero. Let's get the show started. Recorded live from Crossfit Potrero. We are living here right now, alive.
Yes, we're alive.
Yes.
We're here with This Costa Rican Life. I am your host, Justin McCarter. I'm here with Erin Fessler and Colin Sharp, two of the lovely owners from Crossfit Potrero. Thanks for allowing us into your lovely spot, you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
And Colin, thanks for knocking back those pre-beers in such an efficient manner.
Oh, yeah. Well, we figured it'd be... We couldn't decide if it was funnier for me to have the empty glasses from me having downed several beers before this or not. It was a long walk over here, man.
The table is littered with pre-beer.
Just off screen.
Yeah. Hey, so tell me a little bit about CrossFit. How long have you guys been here?
October of 2021. We're in 2023.
And it's a group of 4 friends?
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice. How did you all become friends? Who knew who first?
So the history of this whole place goes back before even I got here in 2018.
Like 1860? Are we going to start there?
Yeah, it actually goes back to the Magna Carta.
Just after Guanacaste split from Nicaragua.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But before it had become part of Costa Rica, there was a little clearing in the forest that they would one day become CrossFit Potrero.
We mostly just lifted rocks.
But yeah, so this place has been around since even before I was here 4 years ago, and passed through 2 or 3 different ownership groups. And along that time, right after the pandemic, it really started to get kind of this new identity. There was a lot of people new coming in, a lot of Potrero refreshed at the time, as I'm sure you know.
Sure.
And it was like a new group of people had come in. Everybody was really kind of getting behind the gym. It was getting a lot of energy. But the previous owners before us, unfortunately, couldn't kind of keep the gym alive. It was wasn't working for them. They lived elsewhere. They had other priorities. And so they sort of let it lapse a little bit, and we banded together with a bunch of people from this community that's really important to us, and we kind of put together a little funding group, and next thing you know, we were the owners of CrossFit Potrero.
A little funding group, it sounds like you're...
It sounds very official. It was not that.
We had angel investors who put in nearly $1,000.
It was more of like, I gotta fix the gym. The gym's gonna die.
Because, like you were saying, so yeah, we're all friends, and we're all friends really because of some had developed relationships outside of it, but honestly, I probably wouldn't be living here right now if it weren't for the gym. Because I came down, I was only going to be here for a month. Clearly, I'm still here.
Right. You came down, Erin, and started working with Adriano Mentes.
Yes.
And was Rachel running the program then?
Lindsay was still running. Okay. Rachel was actually my roommate at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I lived in a little greenhouse on the corner next to Carpe Diem. Yes.
Is that the place that they sell hamburgers out of now?
Perhaps.
And juices?
No, I think that's okay. Anyway, so Carpe Diem, our friend Emma over there.
Yes, it was predates Carpe Diem when I was here, but yeah, was down here in 2015 through 16 for a year working for them before I started working for the man. Went to New York, but with the pandemic was back in Connecticut with my parents for 9 months. I was like, I gotta get out. I gotta go somewhere. I don't want to organize with my friends to go anywhere, but I still know people in Potrero. So came down here for a month and found the gym and found the community here, and it was like the running joke. Everyone was like, "Wait, Erin, when is your flight?" And I was like, still haven't booked it.
Did you say you're from Connecticut?
I am from Connecticut.
Whereabouts? Because I'm from Connecticut.
Fairfield County.
Oh, okay. I was from the more middle part, Meriden, New Britain.
Okay.
The other side of the tracks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it's such a huge state.
Yeah,
You better watch out for people from the bad part of Connecticut.
Yeah.
That's me. That's all me.
So I think the gymnasiums do that for people. I think they really build a strong community around them. I know my son went to college last year and started just going to the gym every day. And now it's a main thing in his life. It's a really important part of his day and of his life and of his socialization. And I think it keeps him more focused on the rest of his life too. He's doing great in school, and I know people that are part of CrossFit, and it's important to them. So I think you guys have a great kind of community service here.
Yeah. Well, and one thing that has existed since before I was here is there is a sort of there's a CrossFit culture, which is changing, but for a long time people have given it it's gotten a reputation as being super gung ho, gotta let the big dog eat, man, and then but at the same time,
where's the giant tire that you flip over? I haven't seen that.
We have to procure one of those. Procurement has not quite, back office is working on it.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, if you have a ginormous couple of tires, if you could swing those by. You don't even have to bring them by, actually. We have people that will lift them and carry them down here.
We'll run them
however far.
We'll turn it into a Saturday workout. It's you guys want to bring a tire from Wacas?
Saturday workouts. You guys work out on the beach.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool to see. Everybody's super supportive and kind of cut up and stuff. And,
we do that. We try to do those infrequently because one of the favorite things for a lot of people is the Saturday partner workouts in the gym, which are normal CrossFit workouts that are here, but will be we kind of come up with some wacky, fun team activities. You get to turn your weights into lily pads and work your way across the entire floor like hot lava.
Tommy, have you ever? Because Tommy is a huge fan of CrossFit, and he's here several times a week. Have you ever used the weights as lily pads?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
So it's not that popular.
I don't come on Saturdays either.
It's a Saturday thing.
Well.
Yes. Wacky Saturdays.
I guess you got something to look forward to now.
I'll be sure to spend my Saturdays here.
That and the tire. Yeah. So I think I will give you an impression of CrossFit because people that do CrossFit like to mention that they do CrossFit. God help somebody who went to Harvard and also does CrossFit. I mean, what do you mention first?
It's funny you say that because I think I'm the opposite. I'm I do CrossFit, but I'm normal.
And rushing to identify yourself as normal
because
means you're not normal.
The more that I've gotten to know CrossFit and being an owner and taking some courses on it, it actually is very much centered around inclusivity. It's centered around functional things. So no matter what age or capability you are, that makes your life outside of the gym better. But that's not what you see on the TV. You see the really insane athletes that are huge, and that's what
super incredible athletes though.
Incredible.
I don't think I am alone in saying, Tommy, that I love to see those incredible super buff women athletes do it in the CrossFit games. You know what I'm talking about? Oh man, I was sitting and watch popcorn and watch that all day long. Yeah.
See, meanwhile, I'm on the side of I think we should go even further. Or I think we should have a degree of athletic competition where we just let people use whatever steroids they want.
So my dad was always a big fan of that. Yeah.
I'm the guy might only live 35 years, but I want to see a dude jump 6 feet in the air.
Absolutely. You brought up steroids, not me. Just going to point that out. People do CrossFit for all kinds of reasons. I think I'm not. I don't think I'm going out on a limb here, Tommy, when I say that you've lost a quarter of your body weight.
Yeah.
About that, something like that.
Is this working?
Yeah,
I hear you.
That's weird.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, I guess so.
Otherwise,
I
lost
lost a good
here.
amount of weight. I don't know how much. I haven't. Maybe 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Testimonial.
Testimonial.
I lost 35 last year doing this shit. It
I
works.
have not.
Shout out to our friend Harry, as I tried to do before. For Tommy's great weight loss here.
Shout out to Harry.
So,
a great coach. Like we lucked out getting him. Like he's the level of skill that he has and the level of certification that he has. You know, he kind of left.
Is there like a tire flipping certification, or is there something different?
That's a conditional certification. Like if you go in the paddies, like on the diving stuff, they've got all the specialties. Like you need to get your like little additional. It's like a certificate.
It would be it would be cute to see kids flipping over small tires. They must do that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure they do that somewhere.
CrossFit
Have you ever seen the kids on the when you go to like a rodeo and they're on the little Jeep with the helmets?
Oh yeah, they do that here in Costa Rica. It's very dangerous.
No, it is. And they've got like the ones that I've seen in the States, they've got like a makeshift hockey helmet or a lacrosse helmet, and you're like, that's not helping this kid out.
No, I have a story about that. My business partner Jeff. I always have to say business partner because whenever I say my partner Jeff and I'm from San Francisco, people get the wrong idea. They went to a kid's birthday party. You know, a Tico family. They had a little farm out there, and they made a small ring, and they had that same thing. They had the sheep riding, and the kid put the helmet on, and Jeff says to his son, "Oh, what do you think, Max? Would you like to do that?" And 6-year-old Max says, I don't think so. It looks a little dangerous. The first kid comes out of the gates, gets thrown into the fence. The kid breaks his arm. Party's over.
That's really inconsiderate of him.
Yeah, I think Max called that one, right?
Yeah.
Smart kid.
Oh, man.
I don't know how you guys are enjoying your beers. Colin, you look a little light over there, but you went heavy
I've been tanning all day. I'm sorry.
You went heavy on pre-beers.
Would you like some of mine?
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if we have yet mentioned our first, newest, and bestest sponsor ever, Potrero Brewing Company. Potrero Brewing Company, yes, our first sponsor. Yeah, pretty excited about having these guys on board. They have given us a little stout. We had the Session IPA because we're athletes, you know, to start the interview off. And I believe I've got a little, lager here. I was not holding I wasn't holding the logo correctly. So, is there any dew on it, Tommy? Does it look good?
Looks good.
All right.
It looks refreshing.
Yeah, so
It
just
is
like
refreshing.
another neighbor, you know, these guys are right around the corner. I think CrossFit fits right into this neighborhood. You have so many people that are big fans. Why do you think it's sort of caught on more than ever these days? You think we're getting healthier? You think there's more people in town?
Do you want to go?
Yeah, I guess I think part of it is since the pandemic, there's, whether it's Ticos or foreigners that are from Europe or the States or whatever, the ability to work remotely has brought a lot more of a young professional community, I think, to this area.
Right.
So I think we kind of latched onto that, and we have like a critical mass of people that someone comes in and they're new to town. I'm like, oh, you should come to the gym. It's not just to work out, but like you'll meet a bunch of people. Well, sometimes we go to the brewery afterwards, or we go to the shop.
Imagine that.
I know.
Yeah.
I think I'm at the brewery like more times than I'd like to admit per week.
It's okay. Nobody's going to watch this video anyway,
No.
so it's cool.
It's because my dog likes to go there. That's
what
really
we said
why I go
about Colin's
there.
podcast.
Yeah.
My dog likes to go. That's the only reason I go to the
Well,
brewery.
And it's a shame your dog likes to go to that ratty place down on the beach that no one
Oh, I
likes.
know.
Oh.
Sailing center?
Your
Yeah.
dog was coming to the sailing center before you were.
I know. I know. Yes, he was.
Well, and to add on to that, I think specifically what works so well with CrossFit here is two, at least for me, there's always two things. One is that, like, you get in and get out in an hour, and it's a really good workout. Like,
Right.
a lot of my friends when I was in college, they were gym rats, and they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the gym," and it was this whole like 2.5 hour like procession through this thing, and then like stopping to check your phone, and like, oh, gotta check my form, and then it was this whole.
I've noticed you don't have 500 mirrors in this place.
It's
How do people see how buff they're getting?
CrossFit doesn't do mirrors.
Oh, okay.
That's what I learned in starting, because
Nice.
I'm actually pretty new to CrossFit, but I've learned, because I was like, what if I want to check my form? And Harry was like, nope, that's CrossFit doesn't do mirrors.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool, actually.
You rely on your coach and your friends to keep an eye on you, to tell you, to help you out. So it's more about the community aspect than
Yeah.
how do I look in the mirror today?
Yeah.
Right.
And the second reason is that there's a lot of shit to do around here. I didn't mean to use bad language.
Oh, we can drop one here and there.
Okay, yeah,
but
but
Patricia
PG.
says I dropped too many F-bombs before, so I'm really trying hard
Okay, well,
to be more professional in this
there's
podcast.
a whole lot of stuff going on around
Okay.
here that it helps to be fit. Like the mission statement.
When doesn't it help to be fit?
Well, but even more so here, where name some of the cool things to do around here. You can surf, you can go swimming, you can go mountain biking.
Even if you got to pull your car out of a ditch or schlep stuff, there's a lot more schlepping.
Yeah, there's a lot of schlepping. You guys got to schlep boats from land to water.
That's that's my CrossFit.
I always wonder why you don't keep them in the water, but that's okay. You want to put them on land to be
Barnacles,
safe.
sir, barnacles.
Yeah. Preservation of the boat.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, but so you got to take a boat out, from land, and they're not designed for that. Theoretically.
Right. Colin, we want to hear what Erin has to say.
What
Erin,
do I have to say?
I have a specific question for you. So I told you my son is working out a lot these days.
Yes.
Every other word out of his mouth is protein. How important is protein?
That's a great question. I think that it's important to have a balanced diet.
Okay, he does not. It's just chicken and shakes with protein
I do have to say,
powder.
I'm not good about. I get probably most of my protein from Gritanga.
Very nice. Gritanga,
yes.
Nicaraguan taqueria, right here next to the brewery.
That's what. It's
Great
a nice
chili
little
cheese fries.
beer and either chicken tacos or shrimp tacos.
Yes.
I walk up and they're like, which one? They know my special, the add-ons I'm going to do, but they don't know which one I'm going to do that night. But it's important, but I think some people might overdo it.
Do you hear that, Riley? You're getting weird, bro. Yes. This lager is delicious. If anybody is ready for some, I'm just going to point that out. Okay.
Not quite, but I'll get there. Colin will get there. He'll get there before me.
Hey, Colin, looks like you're empty there. Pass that over.
What great timing.
We brought enough beer for Harry and John, so there is a surplus. Right.
Harry and John is actually the two parts of my liver, is what we call it.
All right, it's not a good pour, but it's a friendly pour.
I feel like it's photogenic.
This is the beery beer. The lager is the beer flavored beer, and I love it. This is my regular go-to.
Did you come up with that phrase? Did I throw that at you? A beer flavored beer, or is that a common
think
thing?
TJ threw that at you.
Yeah.
I do my homework. You know how I am. So I listen to most of the podcasts he's done, and TJ threw that out there, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I
have a very good memory. It's scary sometimes.
Right.
It's scary.
Yeah, because I like that became one of my favorite, and I think TJ came up with it independently of me because we both had a jinx moment where we were like, I was like, I just like we were both like beer flavored beer, and it was like
yeah. TJ's the guy who you feel understands you. He gets me. He completes me.
Well, and I think what's great about TJ is that he can vibe with you whether you just walked in or whether you're stumbling out. And that's a talent that a brewery proprietor needs to have. That's a lot of stages of sobriety and intoxication that he has to be able to vibe with.
Yeah, he can. He's there all day in his little spot on the side. Kathy's running around like a moth in the flame, doing everything. Respectfully, and TJ is the center of the hurricane. I feel.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of that. He's that.
I love those guys.
Yeah.
Thank God for that, because there's not a lot of community. It's a hub of the community. It's a place that outside of here, that's probably the next place that I frequent the most, because I'll stop in and I'll just get and Gritanga. I'll get just like a little baby beer, go chat with my friends, and then go home.
I love baby beers.
Yeah, they're perfect.
One of the things about drinking in the tropics is, unless you drink like Colin, it gets warm, right? Respectfully.
Well,
so much respect today.
So much. I'm
so afraid.
Man, I'm tired.
But they have good beer, and I'm not. If I'm gonna get a Pilsen or an Imperial, I'm gonna get an Imperial. But if I'm gonna get a craft beer and pay for a craft beer, I want it to be good, and they do good.
They do it well. But the little half beers make me feel like I'm keeping my life together.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah, like I'm just having a tiny beer. No big, you can have your big giant beer. I'm just gonna have this little baby beer.
I feel like that was a directed you, not a hypothetical you.
It was a hypothetical. All people. So I like I said, Tommy gets so much out of CrossFit. I know some other folks that are working out here. Rob and Jen, like they rolled into town just kind of like average Joes, like they got a couple kids, and like the other day down at the beach, they're all cut up these days. I was like maybe I should stop hanging out at the brewery so much, and
You just got to come here first.
I think
yeah, exactly.
That's it. It's about the balance, right?
It's about the balance.
Protein, beer, and working out.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But one of the things
like a
that
salad
I
once
think,
every while. Yeah.
I love salad.
I mean, I mostly eat salad.
Yeah,
Let's get real. But what I like about here, and what I think we've been able to grow a little bit more, because we're trying to shape. There's an image of CrossFit that is, I have to be cut and strong, and I have to put 300 pounds over my head, and like that's. You come to the gym and you'll see people they're like, okay, like everyone's pretty average looking, right? Like we're all working very hard, but it's about showing up, giving it your best, and like feeling good about yourself. I got a sweat in, I learned something new.
Right.
And another thing that kind of helps that has kept me enjoying CrossFit and that retains people is it's all like weird little skills. You're like, now I can do a pull-up, now I can do a handstand, now I can do this.
I did it a little bit better than last week.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. So I've run into a bunch of people, especially now that I have a dog, that people will come up and be like, oh, your dog's so cute. Oh, you look like you're about to work out. Where do you go? And I tell them about CrossFit, and they're like, oh, no, I'm not good enough. And I was like, it's not about being good enough. It's about showing up. So.
Yeah.
Okay, now I want to diss CrossFit, but I will say I tried it once and then I couldn't walk for 3 days. Okay, what did I do wrong?
Balance.
You did it right.
No, balance.
I just wussed out and didn't come back. Is that the?
Well,
It's okay.
It's so like. Yes and no. Now, to the people who love CrossFit, it's like, oh yeah, you just did, and for everyone like.
Erin would never say that.
Yeah.
Erin would never say. Ugh.
Yeah, I feel
No,
like
I actually didn't do CrossFit for a while because I didn't want to be like, I was like, Harry, they're wonderful people, but I don't want to like, and he was like, Erin, you would have to work so hard to get jacked that
Yeah.
like, I challenge you to try that. Like, it's not going to happen. And I was like, are you sure? But I was actually very skeptical of CrossFit for the first month or so that I was here.
She used to have her own little corner, and like we put a wall of boxes so nobody could see her, because she was like in her own little corner, and she'd like have her little machines and be doing her workout, and then we'd all be like, yeah, what's going on
in there?
Yeah.
Is that an option for people?
People thought that I was not friendly, because I was it was also when before I'd learned to adapt to life down here and be like, okay, work can wait and this and that, and I was just still like on the New York grind of super stressed, and I'd come here, I'd be like, I gotta get in, I gotta get out, and I got messages and I got emails and this and that. So I've definitely changed a bit since the days of
and now outlifts most of the dudes in the gym.
70% we decided.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting point to make. Let's talk a little bit about the differences between sort of your life before and your life in Costa Rica. I think a lot of people are kind of interested in what are the trade-offs and what's better and what do you still kind of miss? And you want
for the record, I work remotely from Connecticut.
Okay, I'm sure none of those guys are going to see this podcast.
I know, for the record, I work remotely from Connecticut.
Obviously, it's a hologram, and it's a very successful.
I'll let you go.
This technology is off the hook.
As the only person on this bench who is actually living here, so for me, it was, I was kind of directionless and looking for an adventure when I first came down here. I was fresh out of college. I had like what I felt like it was a bright future and lots of great stuff, and then no like inspiration to actually follow anything in Atlanta that was happening. I went to Georgia Tech. And so I kind of like just aimlessly drifted around until I ended up working at a restaurant, and was like, this is not where I pictured my degree taking me. great restaurant. Go to Echo in Atlanta if you have a chance to get through there. But I ended up kind of stumbling my way into an interview with Charles Brewer, who founded Las Catalinas.
That's right. You worked at Las Catalinas, and that's when we met.
Yeah, so I bounced down there, had 18 very educational and rigorous months. They work hard over there, which is the most politically correct way I can say it. And it's amazing to see how it's grown since then. But during the pandemic, things we parted ways, and I went freelance. So it's interesting for me because a lot of people who come down here have kind of formed a adult life before arriving here, and for me, this is all I've ever known. I came out of college right down here, and what I can say is that this place has grown from a place that I thought was going to be just a wacky adventure to a place that I wanted to have in my rotation if I was working remotely, into what has been and will probably be my home base for a good portion of the rest of my life.
I think it will be too, because I know that you have good friends here, people that care about. And I consider myself one of them. Well, that value you in the community.
Well, and that's huge. And it was interesting because after the pandemic happened, this place developed a little bit less of a turnover.
Erin, you're slowing down on the sponsorship.
Sorry. Yeah,
supplied beer from Potrero Brewing Company.
It's but what's also been interesting is that as this, in the addition of the marina, so I grew up in New Orleans. Erin lived in New York for a while, and I moved to Atlanta. So I was used to very happening, lots of stimulation in towns, and Potrero is on a global scale very sleepy. It's
you got to make your own stimulation here.
Yeah, you do. You have to. So, and so for a while I was like, oh, I don't know, will I always feel like I'm missing something? But in the past year and a half or so, it's more interesting people who are working on cool things and are just no, I just want to live in paradise, have arrived. It's less oh, I'm either running away from life on a gap year, I'm retiring, or I was born here and never left.
Or I have so much money, I'm just rolling around aimlessly.
Yeah, exactly.
Just trying to look for somewhere to spend it.
There's definitely still those people. Most of them live out in Las Catalinas.
Yeah.
It did not used to be like this, right? Listen to the Greg Ledbetter interview.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, those were the days where it was, you fell down here because your family didn't really want you around anymore. You maybe had some brushes with the law.
Yeah.
You loved cocaine, and you loved dark brown alcohol that you had a lot of.
Yeah.
And that was the scene.
Hookers and fishermen. It was all hookers and fishermen.
All hookers and fishermen. Yeah.
Actually, the other day, so we've got a group thread between a bunch of the members that we do social stuff with, and Harry stumbled upon these pictures of here. What was it, in the 80s?
The 70s.
The 70s, and it's pictures of from Brisas down to the marina.
Those are the pictures I posted.
Oh, maybe he took your pictures. I don't know.
They were on the Potrero chat.
Yeah. Perhaps.
I put them out, yeah.
He sent those around, and I was like, it definitely wasn't like that. But even when I was here in 2015, the Monkey Trail wasn't paved.
It was horrible.
In 8 years, there's a lot that's changed.
For sure. But those pictures from 1972 of the little landing strip over by Flamingo and absolutely nothing at Flamingo are super interesting to see.
Oh, I don't think we saw those ones.
Yeah.
I didn't see them at Flamingo. I'll have to take a look.
Well, maybe he's got some other pictures. Our pictures came from the daughter of Bon Bailey. Bon Bailey is the guy who started Surfside and actually carved it all out and had the original agreement with the municipality that there would be green zones and that the municipality should take care of them, and that all of our Surfside's lawsuits with the municipality that we won last year, saying the municipality had to protect these green zones that are right behind CrossFit here. That's because of her family and the way it was set up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes, we have green zone back there that tends to become our reservoir in rainy season.
Yeah, that water has nowhere to go. I noticed that you have some sort of concrete little walls here built up.
It works 95% of the time. 95%
of the time, it works 100% of the time.
And those actually, when we first took over the gym in 2021, in October, we didn't have those. And luckily, and this is kind of what I love about here and the gym, but just in Costa Rica in general, I was in New York where everyone works for a corporation, right? You go to an office building. I've got a friend who's a contractor, a friend who's an engineer, one who's in real, like all of these different things. So you've got a guy for everything.
Absolutely.
Or a girl, a guy or a girl.
Yeah.
But one of our members kind of designed, he's an engineer, kind of designed it, had his guys come in and helped us to put this wall irrigation system in. And since we've had it, we only flooded once, and that was just because the street was flooded.
Yeah.
So if the street's flooded, like, there's nothing we can do about it.
It was that super late rain that came like in December, which
I think it was.
We flooded out of our house, so you guys are lucky.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Hey,
Colin, it looks like your beer's pretty low again.
I'm sorry, it's just so yummy.
Oh, that was
knocked my
Watch out for the microphone. Those things are expensive, bro.
So's my time.
Is it? I was trying to figure out how much my time was actually worth. It's probably like $1.10 or something like that.
I think your time is worth more than that.
Well, thanks for saying so, but
You're like, the math don't lie, Erin.
Others would disagree.
Depends on who you're asking, I guess.
So, how much do you think your life is different than your friends' lives at home, living here?
I mean, for me, they're all jealous and they come visit me whenever they can.
Yeah.
It was really funny because when I went to an engineer's school, I went to Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
And I was in computational media, which I was like a combination of media design and storytelling. And all of my
Seems
friends.
good for you.
Yeah, it was good for me. And it was funny because all of my friends who were engineers, studied, they're like, can you model CAD for an airplane part? And I was like, no. And they're like, well, and they were all like,
what use are you?
Yeah, exactly. They would always tell me, you're going to end up as a starving writer driving a truck. And immediately out of college, I was a starving writer working at a restaurant. And
I don't have a truck though.
Yeah, I was like,
I need some money to buy a truck.
Yeah, I was like, man, they were right. And now, 4 years later, I'm still in a group meet with all of my buddies from college, and every once in a while, they'll be whining about work or something, and I'll just be like, come visit me if you want.
Right now, they're slaves to the machine, right? I mean, those CAD jockeys, that's the worst. All day, every day. No, it sounds like hell.
I have a buddy who's he's like, man, if I am a spendthrift for the next 25 years and I obsessively, I'm not kidding, he's like, if I obsess over saving every dollar and saving this thing, then I can retire by the time I'm 50 and finally be happy.
Right.
And I'm like, great, I'm happy now.
I know a bunch of guys that have had strokes in their early 50s and
That's
just
wild.
Tapped out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I think for me, especially as someone, I'm very type A. And
none of us noticed.
I know, right? I camouflage a little better down here. But being in a culture, especially New York, that just amplifies that, was it's very easy to fall into the patterns of work, play. It's.
You must have also done well in that environment and swam pretty well with those fish.
I did, but it burned me out.
Yeah.
And it took, honestly, for maybe the first 6 months that I was here, I had to be very intentional about pushing away that culture and being I'm going to sign off my computer and I'm going to go to Sunset and I'm going to enjoy it. And if work is still there it'll be there when I get back, right?
Yeah.
And now it's much more natural and I've adapted to it. But I like with food, with working out, with everything, I think I've just found more balance here than I had. Not to say that other people in the States don't have balance, but I didn't find it there.
They don't.
I did not find it there.
It's fine to say that.
Yeah.
And that's a hard lesson for a lot of people. A lot of people, we've all been here long enough to see the 1-2 year folks, and it happens all the time. And you develop friendships, and then they go away. They need to go. The kids are 14. They want to be in a, whatever it is. And people come and people go here.
Shout out to the Spooners.
Shout out to the
We miss you,
Spooners.
Spooners.
We miss you.
That's right.
They were also members here.
Yeah, we bought their car, and so it's got a Potrero Brewing sticker, it's got a Sailing Center sticker, and it has CrossFit sticker.
Nice.
And I guess people think we're fitter than we are, which is okay.
You got to give yourself
Jesse,
credit. You do a lot of work on the boats.
I do, but I think that could be instead of the tire flipping thing, like maybe we can work out something for your Saturday things where you get your guys to pull all the boats down to the water.
We could do that.
It's tough. Yeah,
we could do that.
Functional fitness.
It is
literally.
It's what has kept. I'm a little older than you guys by 20 some
minutes
years
or so.
Yeah, no.
I'm a little bit older than he is though, but I hide my age with.
Well, I thought you were much younger than him. I mean, you act more mature, obviously, but that's the type A personality
I've hit the 3-0.
Oh.
Yeah. I know.
Goodness me.
I know.
Oh,
I'm coming on 3-1.
I'm going to scoot away from age.
She's
I know.
30.
But the other thing also, I think down here...
I'm not quite twice your age, but...
you might be close to twice mine.
I bet I am. What are you, like 27?
26.
Yes, I am. Cheers to you, sir.
Hey,
cheers to you, sir.
Yeah.
You've lived an entire other one of me.
And I've almost got another one of you brewing here.
Oh, shut up, Justin. You've gotten in so much better shape, since 2 years ago.
I don't know if that's true. Because
you have more glow.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Is that mine? No, that's his.
Oh, well, that's the 45-minute mark.
Yeah.
Because
It's 2:45.
we are famous for, at this stage in the interview, pouring another couple rounds, and now we're pounding, right? But Erin has to go to Honduras.
But
so
if you guys want to stay,
I know you don't like talking to me. Then it's just two bearded dudes having a podcast, which there's enough of those already.
There are definitely enough of those.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, here's a podcast with two white guys drinking beer. It's like,
ooh,
revolutionary.
No, we're not going to do that. But it's nice. You've got an interesting. You want to talk about it at all? I mean, I think it's a super interesting thing that you're going to do in Honduras. Now we're at the end of the podcast. We've talked
well, I was
enough
going to
about
say
CrossFit
one of the other
in
things
town.
that the difference between here and because. Bless my parents' soul. My brother lives in Florida. My dad was like, I don't know why she just doesn't want to go to Florida and live by you. And my brother was like, it's very different. It's not about the weather.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not just about that. It's it's the culture of that helps to bring me from an A+ to an A- or a B type.
Isn't that the cutest parent thing?
Oh,
They're
I know.
I don't know why she just doesn't want to live in Florida. I mean, it's just as hot there.
But also the community. It's like you said, it's an awesome place where it doesn't matter where I go. You run into someone and it's a lot of people could probably at a younger age. I don't think the small town would work as well for me.
Right.
But in my ripe age of 30.
Young lady, you have a long way to
I
go.
know.
And a lot of good years in front of you.
I did the big city thing, and I did the going places where I don't know any, and I like rolling up to the brewery for a beer. I like going to the sailing center, saying hi to everyone.
Small town is nice here.
Yeah.
It is.
And it's a small town where people take pride in the small townness and the pride in the community, and something happens, there's 5 people that you can call that will help you, if not more.
But what's been interesting to me is the fact that so I live over in Flamingo now. I know I'm a bougie out of town
right. Flamingo.
I know.
There aren't any flamingos, right? Are we all clear on that?
Yeah. Except for me.
Roseate spoonbills.
Sometimes I stand on one leg.
Continue with your story. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Well, I was just saying, but having a cool little marina for me makes it feel like, we're kind of a port city. Who knows?
Oh, just wait till in April when it's mangoes. The mangoes just drop on the roof, and it scares the crap out of me.
Yeah. I'm sorry to move off from your super interesting story there, Colin, but it was really windy last night, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. No, 100%.
So we just heard some branches falling. I don't know if
Yeah,
that came off on the
so-
microphone, but
Yeah.
but you were saying about flamingo.
And just so Erin was underplaying it. Like we'll be working out and you're lifting, and all of a sudden you hear what sounds like a gunshot. And it's like, oh shit! And it's like, oh okay, cool. Like just a mango falling from the tree and hitting the
And then
tin
the cows
roof.
come in. If we don't pick them up, the cows all come in and they eat and then they shit on the floor. So you got to pick up the mangoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Costa Rica problems right there.
Yeah. You know, and I guess the only thing that was interesting to me is that like you get enough because like there are small towns that are like nothing small towns. Like,
Was that your point about flamingo?
my point about this
a
whole
port
area
city,
in general?
clearly.
It's a port city. Like people
Clearly.
come in, like people visit,
Like I'm not actually.
listening.
I don't actually agree with you one single bit about
interesting.
the marina being like a port city.
Well, no, I saw the possibility of it being like, oh, cool, like things are coming in here. Like,
It's like saying Nordstrom's is a corner store.
I mean, you know, true.
Are you
I mean,
done?
I lived in.
Am I done?
I don't know.
Well,
Port City, Erin.
New York, it's very likened to New York.
Flamingo is a lot like New York.
If it's people come through here.
We
like
love you, Colin.
Look,
We do love you, Colin.
I've driven through small towns in West Virginia.
I'll bet you have.
Yes.
And
them country roads.
yeah, and look, they don't take me home.
They don't take you home?
me straight to. And I don't want to be there. People don't want to be there. Interesting people don't come visit. Here, people do. You know, Port City.
Sure. There's also
You know
just
what?
a lot of stuff to do here that back home it's like restaurants and bars. Like you're eating or drinking, and that's like what there is to do, unless you live in the mountains.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I actually the other day was like, Con, I had to think about I had to talk myself down from getting stressed about all the things that I want to do because there's so much to do. But right now I'm like, okay, I'm focused on I got to get through the triathlon. Then I can learn to do free diving, and then I can do surf, and then I want to do this and I want to do
Right.
that. And there's so much that like I want to do and learn that's out there that doesn't require a huge amount of money to participate in, and it's being in nature and
The naturaleza here is
Yeah.
super important. And I don't know about you guys. We just have a couple minutes left here. When I was in the States, I was a big sports fan. And all of that has faded. I don't follow any sports here because there's other things that I'm interested in. I want to do free diving with Dara. I want to do
That's who we're
scuba
training
diving with
with, yeah.
Ernst.
we've already got signed up
You
for it.
know, so there's
Shout out Dara. Yeah.
Shout out to Dara Israel.
Has she been on the podcast
Not yet.
All right.
Not
she
yet.
needs to be.
But that's another beautiful thing about living in this area is that the things that are interesting are not commodities.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
we're not spoon-fed those things.
Yeah.
Well, that's my words of wisdom, Tommy, and we're going to wrap up with that. You know, Erin's got to go to Honduras to, work at some remote hospital. Colin and I are going to finish off all the booze provided by Potrero Brewing. And anybody who's made it this far in the podcast, I would just like to say,
Thank you.
both of you, thanks. Erin, Colin, thanks for coming on. And,
Yeah,
absolutely.
shout out to our friends who couldn't make it. We miss them,
absolutely.
and maybe next time.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cheers, guys.
Hey,
Cheers.
cheers to you.
All
and to
right.
Potrero Brewing. Hell yeah.
Potrero, our one and only sponsor. Cheers.
Awesome.
Thanks, Tommy.